Is this the day where we finally have a main competition to Nvidia and their ever so increasing market share in AI and data center? So today, in a couple of hours, AMD will unveil their new data center and AI products, and I suspect that they will also unveil their new partnership with big companies like Microsoft, Google and Facebook to basically advance and take the fight on Nvidia. Now, if we start having a look at Nvidia, so we can see that historically Nvidia has been a gaming company. Everyone knows them for the gaming. And you can see here that the biggest chunk of their revenue a couple of years ago was from gaming, 48%. And then 29% was data center, which keeps growing. Now, fast forward to latest year, and we can see that as of latest quarter, data center is up to 60%, gaming is half of that. And looking at their guidance that they gave a couple of weeks ago, we can see that the revenue will increase with a lot, so to 11 billion US dollar. And most of this increase will still be on the data center business. So probably this chunk will go above 70%, even maybe 80-90%. So they are definitely shifting to a data center company from a gaming one. Now, as we said, Nvidia is facing a new fight from AMD, and probably a lot of big companies like Microsoft, Google and others, just because they are not looking to be in a position where Nvidia is dominating on hardware and software, so they can dictate their fate in the coming next decade. So that's why I believe that we might probably see an announcement of partnership with Microsoft, Google or other main companies in this area. So going to AMD's numbers, latest quarter and the data center was not that great. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I was expecting some growth here, but there was none, and also the margins were not that great. But on this segment, on the margins, we can see that it's probably mostly due to increased R&D investments. So I'm not that bothered about that, to be honest. And it was the same case for Q4 of 2022. I mean, the revenue was a bit higher, I believe 1.7 billion back then, and the margins were not increasing as much as I believed or wanted, but again, also offset by increased R&D investment. So why are they increasing their investments? What is the product that they're gonna launch? Well, I mean, it's not a secret. Everyone knows that MI300 that everyone is talking about. And MI300 comes in multiple variants for multiple different needs and applications. But the main two variants is probably this one, the 300A and 300X. And we can see that there are a few supercomputers that has been shifted from Intel and Nvidia to AMD. So if we start to look at the top 500, we can see that Frontier is powered by AMD's MI250X and EPIC CPUs. Now, MI300 is the successor to MI250. So we can see that El Capitan, which is expected to be the fastest supercomputer on the planet, I believe this one will be the first to pass the 2 exaflop threshold as well. So the previous supercomputer from AMD, we saw that it passed 1 exaflop, and it's called Frontier. So El Capitan will double that, and again it will be powered by AMD and with MI300. So I believe this is the first time that Nvidia has faced real challenge. Now again, Nvidia has much more advanced software stack compared to AMD, but this is where I believe at the unveiling today, companies like Google, Microsoft and others will probably have a shared goal to offset the dominance of Nvidia in that segment. As I said before, they don't want to be in a position where Nvidia will dictate everything. So that's why I believe a lot of companies will actually diversify to some degree and help the second challenger, in this case AMD, not to end up in a position where Nvidia is taking control of the market, as Intel did in the CPU side for the past 10 years, which led to stagnation and not as great situation for the consumer. So looking at the stock price, we can see that in the pre-market the stock is sitting just below, just above the 130, which is a good price. It's still not all-time high, but remembering that the stock price was at 55 so just months ago, okay, maybe, well, I don't know, 8 and 9 months ago, but still, like, it's going up a lot. But looking at the market cap at 200 billion, if you suggest that this company is gonna be at a stock price of, let's say, 250 or 300, market cap will be at 400 billion. Now the PE ratio would be a lot, but again, in my opinion, looking at the numbers here from data center, if they manage to, because this is where everything ends with, if they manage to increase their revenue by multiples like Nvidia did in the last few years, and also guiding for much higher revenue increase for next quarter, if AMD manages to do that in the second half of the year, because remember that Nvidia is shipping their product as we speak, MI300 will probably enter into volume manufacturing just now, and they start to be in the systems probably at the Q4 most likely in volume again. So I believe if we start to see like steady revenue increase in Q3, Q4, and then next year, maybe if we manage to have revenues of 2, 3, 4 billion in this area, and the operating margin goes up to much higher than this we see here, then we can start to see that actually AMD will have start to make a lot of money on a full year basis from their data center. And just to get an idea, we can see that in 2021 they made just below $4 billion in revenue and just below 1 billion in operating income. Now they increased their revenue by 64%, and the operating income increased even faster by 86%. And you have to remember that this is insanely good numbers, but also the difference that the operating income is going up faster than revenue is really good, and in my opinion is even better than when you actually consider that they are investing heavily in the R&D. So if they wouldn't have invested a lot in R&D, probably this number would be even better than we see now. So I believe that if we take these numbers for 2021 and go to 2022 and then extrapolate to 2023 and expect, I mean, they are saying that they will increase their revenue in the second half. Even if you assume that they manage to hit somehow 50% increase here, we would probably see again maybe, I don't know, 70, 80, even 100% increase in operating income. And that starts to add up to 3-4 billion US dollar in operating income just from the data center. And as I said, that if the company will double the stock price, the market cap will be at 400 billion US dollar. So if your operating income from your data center on a full year basis would end up between 3 to 4 billion US dollar this year or early next year. Now that's not, I mean, it's still 100 times price to earnings ratio, but given that the data center will still keep increasing with MI400, so the successor to the MI300, and then at some point in 2025 probably the gaming will rebound and come up with a good revenue increase, and their embedded systems also will probably go faster than even the gaming side. I mean, I don't think it's that far-fetched to believe that the stock will double in price in a couple of years. I mean, just 4 billion in pure net income from the data center, and if you assume that we are still at the very early stages of AI, I mean, if they keep to take market share from Nvidia and the market also in itself keeps growing, I mean, maybe in 4 or 5 years they will make, I don't know, 10 billion US dollars in operating income from just the data center segment. Then we are talking a company that, in my opinion, is at least worth $500 billion. And if you add to that all the other segments, maybe in 5 years this is a $1 trillion company. And if that would be the case, then I mean the stock price has to go up 5 times from here, which is actually, in my opinion, still a really good investment. Now, obviously, it's not as good as it's been from 2016 until, let's say, the bull market in end of 2021, where the stock price basically, I don't know, went up 80x so 80 times in what, 5-6 years. But if you tell me that you can 5x your money in a company that is at a market cap of 200 billion today, I would take it. I would definitely take it. So again, this is not investing advice, but I really believe that it's a mature company, and there's a lot of stuff going for it. So in my opinion, it's at least warrants some interest in this company. So thank you for watching, and sorry for the late update. I was away in Greece last week, so I will keep pushing up videos again, and I will definitely follow up the video after today's update from AMD in a couple of hours. So again, thank you for watching. See you later.